We found the letters when my grandfather was moving into a home. There was over 100, and I really think that she hid those for a reason. I saw the address and I Google mapped it and looked at it, and I thought, I just need to go there. I'm here in England retracing my grandmother's steps because this is my family story.
31st of January, 1946. My darling Nick. How are you, darling? I hope you're okay as this leaves me, but missing you.
My grandma was a very bold, bubbly, British lady. She was born in England, in London, and my grandfather was a Canadian soldier. During the war, my grandmother worked as a mechanic, and she was disassembling German aircraft. It's hard to believe her as a mechanic, but it's pretty cool to see that. My grandparents met at a dance, and my grandpa was on leave, and my grandma asked him to dance, and he wasn't much of a dancer, so he offered to walk her home at the end of the night. And so as they were walking home and they were saying their goodbyes, he went to go give her a hug, and all he heard were footsteps, and she was going up the stairs and she was gone. So he, just shrugged that off and walked away. And then 2 weeks later, when he was back on base, in his coat pocket, he found her address that she'd slipped in there. So that's how the letters all began.
Hello, darling. It's me again with a few more lines. Been hard at work all day today. I've just been listening to your favourite orchestra, Guy Lombardo and his Royal Canadians. I'm dying to get a letter from you, but I suppose I've got to wait a bit longer.
After they were writing letters for quite some time, he was given another leave, so he actually went to spend 3 days with my grandma. And after the 3-day courtship, he proposed. So my grandparents got married in October 1945. After they were married and were living together, my grandfather got sent back to Canada with all the other soldiers, and so there were about 40,000 war brides that were waiting to go over to Canada. She was just working and waiting and longing for my grandfather, and every day she was just hoping that she would be on the next ship.
I've just read in the papers that they're going to start sending the Canadian wives over on a big scale in February. I've never envied anyone so much as I do them. I would come to the end of the world just so as I can be with you.
And at long last, here's what they've all been waiting for, and do they make up for lost time?
I imagine that she went through a really, really hard time wanting to just be with him and to do anything she could to just be there, but it was, out of her control. And I think about myself and how I just recently got engaged and how I'm here by choice, and I could easily go and get on the next plane, but it took a lot for her to just wait.
It sure is lonely and miserable without you, darling, and especially at night. I lay awake sometimes hours before I fall off to sleep just thinking of you and how happy I know we're going to be together.
I definitely feel like I was able to get to know her in a different way while reading these letters, and especially being the same age that she is, when I'm reading these. So it's, I'm actually getting to see ways that I'm like her. And that's really interesting. And, having my fiance and my mom and everybody read the letters and say, wow, you are a lot alike, is really cool. They were just a phenomenal couple. They always had fun together. They always went on adventures. They traveled a lot. It's really interesting to think that night at the dance hall, he wasn't much of a dancer, but she eventually got him to dance, and they danced through their life together.
Well, good night, darling. All my love to you forever. Your ever-loving wife, Renee. I love you.